up, you heathens and demons, you sinners and saints, you beautiful, blasphemous people? Welcome back to A Raging Atheist. I'm your boy, Nakasuchi, the little bear. And it's going to be fun today. It's going to be fun. It's New Year's Eve. I've got 2 streams today. Tonight starting at 10:30 Eastern. We're going to have an open room. Now, we've already got Richard Matson's going to come in. Marty's going to come in. Who else? I know I have more people. I can't remember. But anybody's welcome to come in. And it should be fun right off the get. Gonna be a fun stream. And yeah. Noticed real quick Shay talking about Dusty Smith's recent comments towards Mr. Atheist, and I am in full agreement, Shay. I think maybe Dusty's looking for a new person to feud with because nobody cares about his feud with the Amazing Atheist anymore, so now he needs another big atheist to feud with. Because, yeah, if you're going to call Mr. Atheist a transphobe, I mean, you just kind of lose all credibility, but I think he's definitely not the Dusty of old, in my opinion. But we're going to have some fun today. We're going to be looking at some Fundies. And I'm just about done with this year in review. So I'm doing this one today. Tomorrow I plan on being hungover, so I'm not going to be doing shit. And Thursday I am doing a modern day debate early, 12 Eastern noon. Around then, we'll be debating should the impeachment of Donald Trump move forward. I'm not even sure who I'm debating against, but I don't care. It should be a fairly easy one for me. And then Thursday night, me and Ali will have our stream. It is on eating disorders, and if you have an eating disorder and would like to share your story, you are more than welcome to come and do so Thursday night. With that being said, we're going to get right into it. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to relive some hashtag moments. Same as yours. The sky is filled with cheese. Those moments, and with the sky is filled with cheese, see, I sometimes get my Fundies mixed up because for the last several months I've been saying that that's something that Sky Out said. Going back through it, I stand corrected, and I'll show you guys who said that today. But first, we're going to be starting off with Saka versus Dragnaut Silvis. Saka and Dragnaut Silvis versus Aaron Benton. The stream was a lot of fun. 4 hours, 37 minutes of back and forth with a former NIFB member and still close in ideology, Aaron Benton.
This is something that's passed up a lot.
What's up, Neil?
Aaron.
Real quick, what's up to the chat? I didn't say what's up, chat. Neil the 604 Atheist is in the house. I see Critical Cripple, Wilkin K, Geo Sam, Shay is up in here, Marty. What's up, everybody? This should be a lot of fun today. We're gonna see some fun interactions throughout the year, and then I will have one more raging year in review episode, kind of covering the new direction and how the show has went, and that will probably be on Friday.
Do you believe that organic life, like humans, have always existed?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Do you believe that humans or any type of organic life has always existed?
I believe that a form of life, but not before the creation.
Okay, so
besides God.
Okay, is God organic?
I do believe that he has hands. He has a body. Yeah, I believe that.
Oh,
I believe that heaven's a literal place. Yes.
So you believe God is an actual physical entity?
God is
Scripture
corporeal.
says,
Corporeal, yes, sir.
All right.
He is.
That's
Scripture
interesting.
says, yeah.
Go ahead, Drake.
So it's funny that you talk about what we don't know in the field. When I just asked you about one of the major things being studied, you had no idea what it even was.
Well,
Have you actually looked?
Well, I
have
don't
you?
know everything.
No, I didn't say everything. No,
everything.
I didn't say everything. I didn't say. I specifically talked about abiogenesis. And so I just sit here and listen to you say
That's
that
life
we
and
don't know
non-life.
how life started.
Well,
Did you not say that?
Yeah, but you say life came from non-life that has never been tested, proven, or anything. Like, you
So
can't.
and then I
It's
asked
a
you
belief.
about ribozymes. You had no idea what they even were.
I agree. I haven't
Okay, so if you've not looked into it, how do you even come to that conclusion?
come to what conclusion?
That nothing's been tested, nothing's been studied in this area.
I'm talking about abiogenesis.
Yes, that's what we've been talking about for the last 5 minutes.
Now, for some reason, Christians always want to talk about abiogenesis. I mean, we're literally going to see a part where Sky Out wants to talk about abiogenesis with Dragnot and doesn't even know what the fuck it is. I mean, it is. I mean, I don't think any of them really do, but like, literally couldn't even come close to pronouncing the word abiogenesis right, let alone pretending to know what it actually is.
Yeah, but it hasn't been. Like, you can't.
You
Like,
just
nobody
okay.
has.
So how do you hold that statement to be true if you didn't even know what's being studied in the field currently?
Well, I watch certain documentaries on abiogenesis. I don't
Really?
know all the terminology. Yeah, I don't.
You've not
I'll
read
admit,
any of the literature on it, like current literature from like 2018?
to be honest, no. I watched
Okay.
some like documentaries and stuff
So
like that, but
YouTube
I know that
videos.
it hasn't been proven.
So
That's what I
YouTube
can tell you.
videos.
Huh?
Hey, Aaron, real quick, Aaron, remember how you said atheists don't read the Bible? Well,
Because it's earlier when I asked you about how God formed Adam, you had no
Mhm.
idea about that either. So when it
Well,
comes to
yeah,
your
actually, I
creation
did.
myth, no, because when I specifically asked you about that tale,
No, you asked
have
me
you
about like
even
what's in the dirt. That's what
yes
you asked me
about
about.
that's about the creation story. I even mentioned
Yeah,
the
but it
Greek
doesn't.
word for dust of the
But
world.
but it doesn't talk about like specifics like that in scripture. So
It doesn't.
I can't give you answers like
So
that.
you don't have an actual mechanism on how life started.
That's what I told you. I said I have no like it's based off of faith. It's
Faith.
faith. Yeah.
Faith in a narrative that actually doesn't make sense when I explained it to you.
Well, you're adding like your what you believe was in the dirt or what was not there at that time. Like, it's not in scripture.
I've not added anything to it. The crust of the
That
earth
wasn't in
hasn't
scripture.
changed.
You're the question that you asked about like what was in the dirt is not in scripture.
So if something's not in the scripture, is there a way to infer it based on what we know about the world?
Yeah, it's called
Uh,
science.
some things, not
Okay.
everything.
Are you aware of any shift in the Earth's crust where it's completely changed the composition of the Earth's crust?
I know there's like certain shifts, yeah, but that's still
Has the
that's still,
composition of what the Earth's crust is actually made of?
has it changed the composition?
Yes. Has the Earth's crust composition changed?
Has it? I don't know. Has it?
No.
Okay.
It's shifted, it's moved, it's gone through different stages, but
See, that's what I really liked about having Drag and Sokka on the channel, because they could really go into this. Or Drag can really go into the science, and Sokka can really go into philosophy with these fundamentals, and just really get them backed into a corner. And like, if you're gonna come in to a discussion about abiogenesis and Dragnot's in the room, you should at least know what you're talking about. But I don't think that Aaron Benton quite understood at this point who Dragnot was. And I think that they would go on to have a conversation on Dragnot's channel as well. I would like to get Aaron Benton back on. He is he's fundamental, but at the same time, he's a decent dude. We've had a lot of fun with him. Didn't really get to explore his flat Earth shit, so yeah, I would really like to do that. I'll be reaching out to him in 2020.
it's been largely silicon dioxide. So if your narrative is true, that's what God would have reached into the ground and grabbed. And then when I asked you about the mechanism in which why humans are not silicone based, you had no idea about that, nor did you
That's
have
not
any
even in
idea.
script. But that's
that-
the reason why is this, because like I can only give you. I can be honest. That's all I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be honest, but I can only give you like my answers from like what's in scripture. I can't say anything about like silicone base or what God used, because I'm just gonna be straight up honest. Like, if I don't know what this is, I'm gonna say no, I don't know. But if I
Okay.
do know, I'm gonna give you what I do know.
So when it came to abiogenesis and when you claim what was known and what was not known, you gave your opinion even though you hadn't actually read anything in the literature.
No, it actually has never been proven.
Okay, if you haven't read the literature, how would you even know that?
Has it been, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Has it been proven?
Aaron, what has
All right, see you later, Geo Sam. Thanks Thanks for coming in real quick.
Hasn't been proven that cells
Life
can.
coming from non-life. That has
No,
been proven.
okay.
I mean,
Okay. Hold
Aaron,
on. Hold
scientists
on.
are working at this shit every
They're working
Well,
on it, but
no,
it
no.
hasn't been proven.
No, but
They're working
hold
on
on.
it,
Hold
but it
on a
hasn't been
second.
proven though.
Okay, that's actually where you're kind of wrong. Okay.
Yeah, that's what he said.
It-
That's what he said.
Well,
okay.
that's what I said.
The,
because I'm
the
drinking.
reason the reason why you think that
You know, like watching these streams back, you know, and I've done a really good job at cutting back on drinking. A really good job on it. And I've set tonight as my last night for drinking for quite a while now. I have been planning on what I'm going to do in 2020, getting my mind right, getting my mind to the point to where I want to start exercising again, starting to get healthy. But going back and looking through these old streams, especially if I'm drinking beer, because as I've explained, beer seems to have a different effect on me. A lot of my friends say that I have a allergy to hops, because it really seems to affect me. I do not perform nearly as well when I'm drinking as opposed to when I'm sober. Of course, I mean, I think that's common sense. But if I'm drinking beer, then I perform really, really substandardly. And it's quite painful to watch sometimes. But it's also a good thing to watch it. And it just reaffirms my determination to make improvements next year. You live and you learn, and I have been an alcoholic for too long. I think I can still quit without trying to do some stupid ass AA bullshit if I do it now. So yeah, you know, I joke that I'm gonna be hungover tomorrow. I'm actually not planning on drinking too much tonight because I work tomorrow, so I can't be that hungover. But let's continue. We got a couple more minutes of this, and then we're gonna go later into this stream to where Sokka really just starts tearing Aaron up. But this is hilarious because, again, if you're going to come in talking about abiogenesis, you should probably understand it. The problem is these creationists use it as a propaganda talking point and don't truly understand anything about it.
This is what he said, not me.
when we say that, you know, that we only
I'm just
have
saying that
when
it's
we
proven.
have that we only have theories, or we only have kind of like a hypothesis of
theory.
you know of how this can happen. Okay, that is based on the understanding that at this point in time we don't know what the initial conditions of Earth were.
So if you don't know, like, how are you saying that you know, though? Like,
You don't know either.
But hold on,
I
hold on,
agree. I
hold
don't
on,
know.
hold on, because there's a big but here. Okay, there's a big, thick, juicy but here.
I
Okay.
like big butts, yeah. Give it to me.
Okay. All right. The big, thick, juicy but here is that while we say that we don't know what the actual kind of conditions were on Earth at this time, you know, for life to arise, we do know what criteria is needed for life to arise. Okay, and we have models that support that, like the RNA world theory. Now, that is an example of how we can get, you know, life from non-life, which I know, like my friend CRISPR is going to yell at me for using that, you know, that descriptor of it, but that's fine.
Oh, Matt Powell hates you right now, Sokka.
Okay, but like, so we have an idea of how it's possible, but we can't say that this is exactly how it happened because we have a lot of different possibilities that could come to that conclusion. So it's like there is an actual fact that we know how something can come about. Okay, so we know that abiogenesis can happen in numerous different ways. What we don't know is which one of those ways it did, and that's the great unknown.
Okay, let me
okay?
stop you right there, man. Let me
Okay,
please.
but that's different.
That's my thing,
the position,
right?
yeah.
Hold on,
The
can I
position
please
that
interject,
you're
Van?
putting. Well, hold on. The position that you're putting forward is that it's impossible. Well, that's not true. It's not
true.
impossible.
All right, so you just have a complete dismantling there of Aaron Benton's arguments against abiogenesis. Doesn't truly understand it. That's a good thing about these conversations, and I think Aaron is a person that probably learns from his mistakes and wouldn't walk into that discussion again. There are Christians that don't. Praise and Sky Out being two that I can think of off right hand, and then Jill being the nationalist that he is. We're going to skip forward to 317, and Sokka's gonna really go into Aaron. And the thing I like about Sokka, people, I call myself the raging atheist, but when Sokka gets going, he gives no fucks. He's not gonna care about your feelings. He's gonna tell you exactly like it is. And it's one of the things that I really appreciate about Sokka Count.
I don't think it's going to get that far.
I don't know, dude. I don't know, because everybody says that. We're in the modern age now. But in Tanzania right now, guess what they're doing? They're burning witches.
Yeah, they've been.
Yeah, and Marty, come on in whenever you can tonight. It'll be an open room. We'll be going past midnight. It'll be fun. Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. Anybody can come in, and we can talk about anything. It's gonna be good.
They've been doing that for a while, to be fair. But I want to address something real quick. So, Aaron, did you click on any of those links that I sent to you? Because I sent you 2 different links. Because I keep seeing that you saying in the side chat that we hadn't observed exactly what I just sent you.
No, I clicked the side link. I clicked it, but even though it exists, like the information that you presented exists in like animals, it wasn't observed in humans. So it's a belief in regards to humans.
So you actually read through this, and what you got out of that is that it was observed in other creatures?
That's what you told me.
No, I asked you to read the link that I sent you.
I didn't read the link yet.
Okay, so you haven't actually looked at any of the evidence that I've literally just given you, and you're still claiming that it doesn't exist and it's not been observed.
I didn't say it didn't exist. I said your evidence might exist in other species, but it has never been observed in humans.
Okay, so in order for me to make the claim that it exists, I would have to observe the evidence, correct?
Has it happened in humans?
Yes, that was literally the extent of our conversation.
So there was a proof that these chromosomes have fused in humans. Like we've seen that happen in humans.
Did you just forget the entire conversation we literally had not even 15 minutes ago, where I explained
you said
to you?
No, though.
No,
I said no.
no.
You said it's only been observed in animals.
No, oh my goodness! I literally explained to you
What?
that chimp chromosome 12 and 13 were fused, and
12
I even
and
went through
13 become 2.
Thank you. So he heard it. So hold on for a second. Somebody else in the hangout heard it.
fucking heard it.
But
I heard
how many other people in here heard that?
I'm raising my hand. I'm raising my hand right
So
now.
literally everyone in the hangout heard it, but you.
I was just talking with the messenger, and I was thinking about this, people holding a belief that something is false while also knowing that it's true. And I was trying to say, well, wait, could we say that that's a definition of something like cognitive dissonance? And I was thinking of cognitive dissonance, and just listening to Aaron talk reminded me of the word that I was searching for.
Literally cognitive dissonance.
That's it. Okay.
So it's interesting that everyone else in the hangout heard me explain to you the human chromosome 2, even call it the human chromosome 2.
That was John Peterson on the phone. Didn't realize I was live. I'm live, dog. I can't talk right now. Talk to you about 2:00.
Confusion. But somehow you missed that. How is that?
No, I heard you say that.
It's more confirmation bias than it is cognitive dissonance. Dissonance will sit there and suggest that how you act and behave will change your internal beliefs over a period of time. So he's dealing with confirmation bias, which means he's going to block out which interferes with what he holds to be true, and he'll only accept.
No, actually not.
Good point. That's a good point. Sorry, my bad.
To clarify terms, that's all.
That is a good
Hey,
point.
Aaron, let me ask you, man. Do you challenge your beliefs like Messenger was talking about?
Like,
Hell
dude,
yeah.
I challenge
used to
my beliefs
believe-
all the fucking time.
Hold on. I'll say this about Aaron, and Aaron and I had our.
Oh, messenger. I thought I was done with you. Oh, I am done with you.
My very first, let me rephrase that. My second online interaction with any Christians was on Aaron Banton's channel. And I'll tell you this, he's at least attempted to be open to change and growth within his.
Welcome, Pat Yamat. I believe in God. No issues there. Believe in what you want. It's how you use that belief on whether or not we would get along.
Zone.
And I do want to say also that he came up in here, a panel full at the time. We have more theists now, but at the time, some crazy motherfucking atheists.
So I give him props for that.
But Dragnot, your point is very valid. Aaron, man, God,
Here's the thing.
Yeah, like even if I fail at stopping drinking, guys, the rule should be I'm never allowed to drink beer on stream, like ever.
Aaron's gonna go do the research. So what
Hey,
you guys,
hey, hey. Here's the thing.
what you
Like
guys do with
I
Aaron
don't
is
go against anybody's beliefs like, at all. Like I don't get butt hurt. I am open minded because I used to believe in evolution. I used to believe in the Trinity. I used to
But-
believe in hell. I used to believe in a lot of shit. But
But
things
Aaron,
happen.
the
I'm
the
open-minded.
issue
and that's
the
honestly
issue is that you say that you believed in
I
evolution.
did. I did.
Right? No, that's
I actually
fine.
did.
You
2017 is when I became a believer.
yeah, and
I hear
that's cool. Except throughout this entire conversation, the only thing that you demonstrated is a lack of understanding of what evolution is. So
Actually not. I just showed you that you have a belief too. Like we both hold beliefs.
Aaron, hold on.
that's fine. That's fine.
Let
But
me
again,
talk real quick.
I'm just gonna
I
reiterate
try
this.
to
I'm just gonna
disprove it.
reiterate
I try to
this. I'm just
disprove
gonna
it.
reiterate this point there, Aaron.
One
Is
second.
that if you want to say that something,
I didn't try
hold
to-
on,
wait,
Aaron,
real
hold on,
fast, real fast.
hold
I
on.
didn't
No,
try to
no, no.
disprove
I'm
you at all.
gonna say this point here. Okay, is that even if you say that it's just a belief, it doesn't matter. I don't care if you think that it's just a belief that we hold. The point is
I
that
didn't try to disprove you at all, though.
the point is
Yeah.
that the thing that you are labeling is just a belief. Okay, my
It is just a belief.
whatever. My just a belief has explanatory value. Yours doesn't. You might as well believe that the Cookie Monster
Your
shit the
belief
universe
hasn't been
into
proven, though.
you.
Like,
It doesn't. It doesn't.
evidence for evolution.
Ours has explanatory virtue. Yours is the
It
equivalent of
hasn't been
saying
proven, no matter if it has
yours is the
explanatory
equivalent
virtue.
of saying that the Cookie Monster shit the universe into being. It doesn't matter. Your
I know,
explanation
yeah, that's why I
offers
said it's fake.
absolutely nothing.
I told you in
Your
the beginning.
your
I told you in the beginning
position
that it's faith
is
based.
so irrational. The fact that you think the
I told you that it's faith-based.
idea that you think that your belief is somehow on level with what I believe is just ridiculous. Because
Your
I've
belief
given
is
you
still
all
a
I've
belief,
given
though.
you
Like, it
I've
doesn't
given
matter.
you all the criteria.
Buck Melanoma, $1.99 super chat. Thank you very much. VA money come in. Everybody getting dimes today. Thank you so much. So yeah, there you have just Sokka dismantling Aaron Bitton and his belief structures. Sokka doesn't play. I do believe Sokka should be coming on the channel soon again. He is home, and I think he's got a couple weeks after the new year. So hopefully we'll get Sokka on the channel a couple times before he's back out to sea. I really miss having that guy on. It's always fun when Sokka and Dragonite are on, especially when they're on together, because they feed off of each other extremely well. They're very familiar with each other. Yeah, hopefully that will be happening very soon. That might be why John was calling. Who knows? He might be talking to Sokka about having a show. So we are going to go to round 1 of Dragnot versus Skyout. Not too much is going to happen, but there is one moment that I really found enjoyable. So
That's like
we are going to go to the very beginning and just play it for a couple minutes so you guys can see how it started.
real quick. Do you know who someone was asking me about this Sky Out person?
Oh yeah, I debated Skyout on Modern Day Debate. Skyout, he's different. Skyout is the greatest of all time.
Yeah, he's the
I'm
best.
reading their description right now, and let me tell you, I've not read.
He's
a
undefeated,
bio
although
like
he's never won a debate.
Yeah.
So, like,
Pat, you're making me laugh. Welcome. So far, I don't think you're doing anything that's gonna get you in trouble with the mods, but you're making me laugh.
Marty's really low. Marty's
Yeah, you're really low, Marty. But Skyout, I have fun with you, but Skyout, I think he's slightly different than the Standing for Truth. Definitely on a different level than Matt Powell.
You
Like,
mind inviting him in?
He's like a Darth.
What's up, Ann? Ann Kennedy up in the house, y'all. What's up, Ann? Big supporter of the show. Yeah,
Dawkins light. He's a
Skyout,
presuppositionalist.
would
Yeah.
you like to come in? Skyout, I'll send you. Do I still have your email, Skyout? That's the question.
I see the email. I see the email address here in his description. I'm loving these. I'm going to be repeating myself in debates.
Yeah.
I have perfected my arguments to a science. I'm
Yep.
a tactician. I'm accurate. I'm calculated. Sometimes,
Yeah.
evidently, you can't form proper sentences, but that's
He
fine.
cannot.
I use the same over and over again in a circle. So my argument is accurate and calculated. I come from the highest quality of theological.
Hey, if he comes on Dragnot, he's gonna repeat everything you're reading.
He's gonna say that whole twice. Actually, he'll say it twice. He'll say it when he comes in the room and again right before he leaves.
Yeah. After you just handed him everything about his asshole, he'll be like, 8-0. I'm 8-0 now.
Isn't, correct me if I'm wrong, everybody, but didn't Skylar and I have a conversation with him?
Yes.
Yeah. Two actually. Yeah.
Two. Okay.
And I say this guy out with love, man, because like you
see, and this was like the composition of the rooms back in the day, and I'm gonna really try to get it back to that. I would work really hard to get a couple people on that people knew and that I really liked. Like having Dragnot and Dr. Josh in a room, and having Sky Out come in. Like that shit. I miss those days, and I want to really try to get back to those days in the new year. And we have plans to. We've been talking about it. We are going to have at least one of these types of rooms every single month going throughout 2020 because I just miss this. I miss having a lot of people in and just talking it out. And a lot of times, a lot of people would have to stay out while a couple people resolve their issue. But it was often a very good time. And we have 23 people in the chat right now. If you guys are enjoying this, it's going to get... Sokka's going to really, really dismantle Sky Out here coming up. We're going to have those hashtag moments. So if you're enjoying it, hit that thumbs up. Let's continue.
You're not.
Right, we're going to skip forward actually to the moment that this was funny. This was funny. I think you guys are going to enjoy this. This is a little exchange between Dragnot and Dr. Josh. This was funny.
Like when I read the Gospels, I'm like, there ain't no way it's gonna be me.
It's one of the great paradoxes, I think. When I was in the Air Force for 10 years and I worked on the flight line.
I'm sorry.
Huh? Oh. That's all right. That's all right.
Oh yeah. I think that might be the third time Drag has
Drag.
Oh, Pat. You're so funny. Why don't you not be a keyboard warrior and come into the open room tonight and stop, not be a little bitch. You want to talk about vocabulary? I'll call you a little bitch. But let them talk, guys. Let them talk. I don't mind. By insulting me, all you really do is show yourself for who you are. You belittle yourself by trying to belittle me, and I find it hilarious when Christians show their true colors.
Of course, on my channel.
Did you serve, Drag?
In the Army, yeah.
Yeah. That's all right. He couldn't get in the Air Force. Okay. Surprising, man. You're pretty smart now. Man, I remember being down. It's a complete aside now, but I remember being down at Cherry Point, North Carolina, on a TDY and leaving my shift. That I think I might have been there an hour, going back to the Sheridan, and making $33 a day, and I'm stepping over the Marines who are sleeping on the floor, the concrete floor of the hangar, with their M16s, with the strap around their legs so that somebody doesn't snatch it, and they're making $3 a day, sleeping there. And I thought, this is why I'm in the Air Force. So yeah, I'm cool with it. Go ahead, say what you want now.
So that's funny as shit, and that happened quite a few times with Dragnot, doing little pokes at the Air Force and Navy guys, but that was funny. Dr. Josh went right back at him. Dr. Josh is one of my favorite people. As you guys know, he designed my T-shirt, or Megan designed it, and Dr. Josh set up the site for it. So we are gonna skip ahead to 2122, and Pat, I doubt you'll show, but I mean, I hope you do. I hope you do. You're welcome. And I have read books. I guarantee you I've read more books than you have, but semantics. I don't know you. You don't know me. I'm not going to pretend to say that you don't read books like you're trying to do with me, but I have books like right behind me. Fucking idiot. All right, 2122. Maybe you can't see him in the shot right now.
Me.
Okay. Well,
there's a difference between moral ontology. If you're asking if morals are objectively exist independently by people, or if morals are merely just a mental construct of people and therefore inseparable from people. So morality is a distinction between right and wrong. So it could be moral epistemology, not to get confused with moral ontology. Moral epistemology is the study of moral knowledge and related to different types of phenomenon. So the homosexual question, I mean, obviously as a Christian, coming from my ultimate authority would be everybody has a fallen nature. It's not just homosexuality, but it's the drunkard, the thief, the sinner, the prostitute. And that's why we say that God has the power to change the lives of those people that were once like that, and now they turned from their ways and repented in Jesus' name, and now they're a different person.
Well,
but not every. Go ahead.
That's funny because Knock, when you went to prison, weren't you a Christian?
Yeah, like that's the thing that, like my mom's best friend. I've known this woman since I was 12 years old, and even back when I was a homophobe. You know, like she was not included in that because she was awesome to me. Always has been my entire life, and I don't think I quite understood that the other woman in the house was her wife. You know, I thought they were like roommates for a long time. And these are some of the people that really led me out of my homophobia eventually. These people live normal lives. You know, they have the same dreams. They want to, you know, like right now on the cut, like they're about to die, honestly. You know, they're very old, frail people, and they just want to see their grandchildren thrive. And they're still alive and kicking. Don't know why I described them all like that. They are very old people, but they're still alive and kicking and still a part of my life. And guess what heterosexual people want to do? They want to see their grandchildren thrive. Like, it's the same thing, man.
No
like
life is no different.
It's the same thing.
Exactly the same. Skyo, do you have a job? No, I'm being serious. Do you have a job?
Of course, yeah.
I have a job. I'm bisexual. Do you pay taxes?
Okay.
I pay taxes. How about that?
See, this whole like Jesus and God thing comes in the way of you seeing human beings for being what they are as human beings. And I guarantee you that Jesus Christ that I read about in the Gospels, if he were alive today, if this character were alive today, you can say he is, but quite literally he ascended into space, and we know human beings can't live in space, but let's not get into that discussion. So I mean, we literally die in space, yo. But okay, beyond that, if he were alive today, I guarantee you he would be pro LGBTQ. The Jesus I read in the Bible, I would think would be smart enough to automatically like advance with the 2,000 years of information, right? And he would come to the compassionate conclusion that I as God have created all of you, you know, and be you. Just don't kill people and rape people. Like, why are we so worried about people having consensual sex when so many people, religious and non-religious, and this and that and that and this, and are doing horrible things?
Well, let me ask you a question. Is it okay for let's say a little boy at the ages of 9 to hold another little boy's hand and have gay feelings at the ages of 7 and 8? Wouldn't it be bad for children?
That's not a gay man, that's a pedophile.
No, he's talking about children. He's talking about 2 children.
So say that again. I'm sorry.
Two 9-year-olds basically having affection.
Boys.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that at all, Skyo. No.
I mean, when. All right, so that's, you know, I see Shay in the chat. Like, yeah, I love those rooms. So much fun. Yeah, I miss these rooms. I miss the Google Hangouts. And technically with Zoom, we could actually have more people in. But I miss the setup, the layout. I think that they should bring Google Hangouts back. I really do. $2 Maynard saves. Smoke weed every day. Happy New Year's knocking off. Thank you so much, Maynard Saves. As always, I am smoking weed all day, every day. Good weed, too. It's pretty good weed. I'm pretty high. All right, so, you know, we delved into a lot of controversial topics back then. So right now we're gonna get into some a discussion on transgender with Sky Out. Dumpster fires, y'all. Dumpster fires.
Rude or offending, but I am a Christian, and that to me, if a person through surgery and go through drugs and surgery and radical drugs to change their body to become a woman.
Oh,
I don't know if you consider that natural or unnatural, and is that damaging to children at the ages of young children? When they see a man that's a woman, how does a little boy or little girl react? Is that good or is that bad? Is that accepted in the community?
Okay.
So we have to go ahead.
Oh, there's a few things here, because first you had mentioned the fact that you have somebody who is identifying as something outside of the normal paradigm, and the effect that would have on someone who is young. Well, if someone who is young is being cultured in a way to only accept binary, then that might have some type of adverse effect. But there are plenty of societies that have practiced bigamy, polygamy, and various types of systems that has no adverse effect. But I would actually challenge you to find a society that practices these things, but then somehow also show that has a negative impact on like their psychological development, as well as what you had stated earlier about them having, and when I say them, transgendered individuals having a psychological disorder that would cause them to then do this. Is that something that you've actually read literature about?
The only reason I say psychological disorder is because statistically speaking, if you look at the suicide rates for transsexuals, it's a lot higher for them, and that's why we preach them the gospel, because we don't want them to do that.
You don't think stigma from society, constant ridicule, people like you saying that you are wrong for being you, doesn't have some role to play in high suicide? I just addressed this when it comes to atheism, isolationism, people rejecting you. These are all psychological traumas that are very hard to recover from. Now, we live in a secular society, but we live in a secular society that has been dominated for a couple hundred years by a Christian religion that would marginalize and stigmatize these people to not be themselves. Can you not understand the psychological ramifications of that? Can you not understand, just, I'm a Native American, right?
Okay.
So my people, and I don't claim full blood. I'm of mixed descent. I'm Irish and Native American, but my Native peoples, right? We have been systematically killed off. Okay. Killed off. 96% of Native American peoples have been exterminated from this country, right? So when you attack the marginalized, for me, I try to imagine myself the way that I am right now, born as a woman, if I would not do everything I possibly could be to become the human being that I really am. Now, luckily, I was born in this body, and it's sexy, but
not so sexy anymore. I put on about 40 pounds this year. That was a thinner knock. I'm looking at this and I'm like, damn, that dude was thin.
If I wasn't, would I not want to become who I really am? And for me, it's hard to empathize on that level. It's hard to get there. And for a long time, I didn't, Sky Out. I really didn't. I looked at that and I'm like, ugh. But now I look at it and I'm like, that's a brave human being.
Can I real quick?
Oh, Pat, you better watch yourself. You're getting into dangerous territory now. So yeah, that was. I think it's pretty clear. I'm drinking there, but I'm not drinking beer and able to make some points. So no more beer. That's the one thing that I've gotten from a Raging Urine review. Is when I drink beer, I slur and I talk just a bunch of shit. So no more beer. But tonight is, as I've said for the last few weeks, tonight is the cutoff night. Lots of big changes coming for me personally and coming to the channel in 2020. Which I'll be talking about all of that tonight. Pat, you are welcome to come in, but I would tread carefully in the chat in the areas that you're going now because you're getting into timeout territory. You're not there yet, but you're getting there. All right, so we are going to go to round 2 now. Round 2 of this exchange was even better than round 1. For some reason, I must not have included the full hangout in my dialogue section here. But at this point, the conversation's well warmed up. Dragnot and Sokka are doing their tag team thing. It was beautiful to watch. If you guys haven't watched this, I got these cut up into round 1 and round 2. We are starting round 2 right now. And hashtag same as yours is coming. First it'll be hashtag filled with cheese, but hashtag same as yours is coming. That shit was funny. I actually sent that to Godless Engineer recently because he had Sky out on his channel. So hopefully GE enjoyed that encounter because I think we all enjoyed that encounter. Too funny. I still laugh about it. I talk about that shit with people all the time.
Truth. I think.
Okay. Well, sorry.
Yeah, he's on his way home. When you talk about truth, right? You're presupposing that other people need these presuppositions to somehow interact with the world and to determine what is true. In reality, that's something that you have a priori established. But if I tell you, well, how do I know that this bottle no longer has water in it? There, at no point in time do I need to presuppose a deity to determine what corresponds with reality, unless you can determine or illustrate to me where would God need to come in this equation for me to determine the truth of whatever is in this bottle.
Sure.
Okay. Can you hear me now, guys?
Yeah, that's a bit better.
So
okay, good.
my response would be your question assumes truth, which assumes logic, which presupposes reason, which assumes knowledge, which presupposes an absolute standard who is God. But
No,
for
that's
you,
not true. No, hold on. Okay, I'm gonna stop you right there. Okay, because what you just said there was a whole lot of hogwash. It's actually not true.
Yeah.
You know, because the first thing that you got to do is you got to stop trying to prescribe what different people's other people's epistemic frameworks are. You know, did Drake say that he was a foundationalist and he laid out what the presuppositions that he holds or the properly basic beliefs of his system was? I mean, how do you know that he's not a foundherentist or a coherentist in those cases there? I mean, what other epistemic frameworks do you know about that exist that wouldn't have to start with the presupposition of something? Okay? You're coming in here trying to tell somebody what their epistemic framework is, and you're putting a lot of claims out there that you want people just to kind of admit and just try to, give into. How about this? How about we start off with the basic claim right there? You started off with one, is that your worldview, I'm guessing the Christian worldview of revelational epistemology, is the only worldview which can account for logic. Okay? Now that's a positive claim. I want you to demonstrate how every other worldview fails. To provide the tools of intelligibility.
Okay. Well, my response would be like, you can't start with knowledge, truth, or logic unless you start with God, which is the foundation of all sorts.
You're just reiterating the claim. I'm asking you to justify this.
Well, what I'm saying, you cannot justify where your knowledge claims come from because you cannot justify.
You don't even know what my position is.
Tu quoque fallacy.
Okay. You don't know what my position
that's not a tu quoque
is.
fallacy.
I'm asking you to justify your claim.
That's not a tu quoque fallacy because I get my knowledge.
Here, I mean, listen. If you can't validate the very premise that you're trying to put out here, why should I take you seriously? Anything? What if I told you that I was let's say for example that I was a coherentist? Okay. What would you say then?
Could you describe the way that you're that way?
Oh, hold on, mister. Come on. You have everything all figured out.
Wait, hold on for a second. Sokka. Shael, do you know what he means by him being a coherentist?
I didn't catch the last.
Could you describe to me how you're that way? Because I have no fucking idea what a coherentist is. Oh, Sky out. This was You know, that's funny. And I got a call from Arizona yesterday. I didn't answer it. They didn't leave a voicemail. But like, I automatically, like, my first thought was, is Matt Powell trying to call me? You know, and I never answer when Matt's calling unless there's like some really big beef going on between us. But I wish I would have answered just to see if that was Matt calling from Arizona. He has been in the live chat a couple times, so I'm assuming he's doing another video on me. That's usually tends to be the pattern. So yeah, maybe he tried to call me yesterday, but you know, the Sky Out is just so fucking funny, you know, and you know, Sokka did that on purpose, and Dragnot does that on purpose, like, you know. If you're going to pretend to know things, well, let's just break out the terminology and see if you can understand it. You know, I'm right there with Skylar. Until I met Sokka and Dragnot, I didn't know what this terminology was. And I have famously not gotten the help that they had offered. I'm just too busy to make it over into Drag's server very much. But just having them on the channel, just having all these different people on the channel has educated me. But it was just fucking funny because, you know, Sky Out is a person that pretends to never lose a debate. Sky Out always runs off of a script. And he's coming into these rooms now, and it's a lot harder to run off of a script in these rooms, especially when you're going at 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, 5 people that know what the fuck they're talking about. It was the best things about these rooms back then. Like I said, you just never knew who was going to come in, and you never knew what level of discussion you were going to have. Dumpster fires, good conversations, we had them all. But we're going to continue for a little bit on this, just because it's some funny shit.
Now, go ahead. What do you mean by that?
Well, no. Do you know what I mean by coherentism? Because you said that your worldview is the only one that does this, which I'm assuming is, and then you've taken a detailed analysis of every other worldview out there and other epistemic frameworks out there. And I'm asking you, how does this hold up against somebody who argues from the position of coherentism?
I'm not too sure, but basically.
Okay, so how about this? You just don't know what you're talking about. You're repeating buzzwords here.
I don't.
Can I interject for a second here?
Well, I don't think you got the part, Sky Out, where Dragnot pretty much told you did not want to come in this hangout.
This is the problem with people who are precept. They don't know how to handle coherentists at all. This is exactly what we laugh at, because the second people, that's why I didn't tell him that I'm a foundherentist. He presumed that I was a foundationalist, and he presumed that Sokka, Bartholomew, was a foundationalist, and neither one of us are. We don't have presuppositions in the same way that he pretends that we do. I, to some degree, will have some, and I'll offer no justifications for properly basic beliefs because they're properly basic. That's ridiculous. But as a coherentist, he has none. So if you're presuming that at any point in time that Sokka has a presupposition, you are not accurately depicting his position as a coherentist.
So let me get this straight. So if he's going to say that they're based on his axioms that are not truth claims, they're not knowledge claims.
He doesn't have axioms. That's literally what he does not have axioms as a coherentist.
Then I agree. Then all he has is subjective assumptions, degrees of knowledge.
No, it's not subjective at all.
Hey, Sky Out.
No. So let me ask you one question.
Hold
okay,
on. Oh man.
Hold on, this one guy. Okay, sorry.
Okay. You're fine. I don't want to interrupt anyway.
So with these conversations here, okay, let's try to. I'm not trying to do this to be combative. What I want to do is I want to disabuse you of bad ideas. And that's what you're full of right now. You're full of bad ideas.
Okay.
You have a philosophical toolkit that's incomplete, and you try to assert things out there without actually having any knowledge of what the topic is at all. Okay. Now, I'm not an expert in this at all. Okay. I'm not like professional philosopher or anything, but I can tell you that I've done probably a little bit more cursory reading of the topic than you have. Okay. And I would recommend that if you are interested in actually starting off the conversations about epistemology. Go out and read some Bonjour. Okay, he's got a great book out there on epistemic problems. So you can find stuff like that, and it'll go over all the different type of epistemic frameworks that are out there.
Just Sokka being Sokka and tearing apart the arguments of Fundy. Just brilliant. Sokka had the best moment in the theology of the sandwich when he came on airs. The first time I ever saw his face, and he has that big mustache and a piece of bread on his head, and he's like, "I thought we were coming dressed for the occasion." One of the best moments on my channel ever, I think. We are going to skip forward now. We got a couple more clips from this one. I need to get a move on. Holy crap, it's already 1 o'clock. We've been doing this for an hour, and we're not even to The Sky is Filled with Cheese, but The Sky is Filled with Cheese is coming as we got an NIFB member coming into a room soon. 1935, or no, we're going to 1007. So, man, I really miss these rooms, and I really want to get new Christians. Pat, you look like a Christian that we would have a lot of fun with. So please come in tonight. I want to start getting more Christians in. Going back through these old videos, Kyle really wasn't as bad as it turned out. Like I used to think like Praise was probably the better of the Christians I was having on. And I think Praise has really shown his true colors recently. But I think Skyle wasn't really, that terrible with his hateful rhetoric, as it turns out, like Jill and Praise was. So yeah, maybe we'll try to get Skyle back on. I miss my punching bag. I really do. So let's continue.
The conclusion that God is needed to be presupposed in order to have intelligibility. That is a conclusion. If you were to pull it in a syllogism, it would be a conclusion. What are the premises that lead to it?
Okay, the premises would be, thank you for clearing that up, by the way. The premises would be, my view is that there is no amount of concrete physical reality that is self-explanatory. So when you see intelligibility, you assume intelligence behind it, and you see the entrance to the history of God to himself. So there's that intelligibility, you assume that intelligence behind it. And so there is no amount of concrete physical reality that's self-explanatory. So whenever you see things in intelligibility, you assume that there's a mind behind it, just like in the universe. So in the universe, there's a rational intelligibility of the universe that is supernatural and existential. So God is transcendent. There's intelligibility from him and intelligence from him that's rational and intelligible from the universe that he has a supernatural existence, and it's transcendent. So there is no amount of concrete physical reality that's self-explanatory, that when you see intelligibility, you always assume intelligence behind it, and you see a mind behind it, and so you see God.
I gotta cut you off. All I'm hearing are a lot of just claims and just conclusions. I'm not hearing any premises.
Carlton, this is literally the longest tautology I've ever listened to.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah, it's like it sounds like a really word salady Jordan Peterson Kalam cosmological argument. That's what I'm hearing.
So
you don't have to like it.
Well, no,
it's not that I never said about liking it or not.
Well, the amount of times you had to say assume in that should have been a tip-off that because you've made these assumptions a priori, that you somehow then apply that to everyone else as though that's the most parsimonious way to approach this. But if I were to take out, like, what about what you just presented, right?
Yeah, I mean,
needs to have those assumptions built in there in order for you to operate as a human being.
Skyle, Skyle is just getting taken apart. But the thing that I always liked about Skyle is it really never phased him, and he just keep coming back. And even after, like, I fucking raged at him about his comedy show where he was impersonating gay people and black people in just very stereotypical ways. He kept coming back, and he kept taking his punches on the chin. You guys, some of you are in my Discord, and we're there for the just bashing of Skyle that happened in Discord. And in fact, it led to me like getting rid of Skyle from Discord just because he became so much of a punching bag that I actually felt bad about it. But I do want to get Skyle back on the show because, looking back in retrospect, you got to give the guy a lot of respect because he is just willing to come in and talk to you about what he believes. and you're coming into a room full of atheists, you're going to have a lot of disagreement on that. And he can come into a room full of atheists and give no fucks. And you got to give him respect for that. I think that deserves respect. I think I'm going to skip this next clip. We're just going to go right to the end of this one because this shit's funny. And then we're going to get into Aaron Ford, the NIFB member that came in to a room. It didn't end so well, so let's get all the way 3047. Didn't end so well, but we had a lot of good moments in that stream. I tried for a long time to let the NIB speak, but we'll get there very soon. We're going to check this out because I do believe that this is the funniest shit I've ever seen in my life.
We haven't even set up the precondition of what it means for something to be considered knowledge separate from belief.
But you can't know everything.
Like 2 minutes ago, I had to explain to you what a belief was. Okay, can you explain to me what knowledge is and what's the line of demarcation between something being a mere belief and something being considered knowledge?
Revelation from God.
Okay, so how does this work? What's the methodology in which this happens? Does it get whispered in your ear, zapped in your brain? Like,
that's what I mean. When you say zapped in your brain and whisper in your ear.
I'm asking. Yeah,
those are your degrees of knowledge because you don't know everything, so you're just kind of guessing of how God communicates to me. That's not.
I'm asking you. No, what I'm doing is I'm opening up the floor for you to explain how it is that you can come to knowledge about something. And so far, you just said so far all you've said is revelation from God. But what kind of revelation are we talking about? Special revelation here? Are we talking about natural revelation, general revelation? What type of how many type of revelations are there? By the way, do you know?
It depends on the person and what kind of revelation you receive based on your heart and based on your conscience.
So would it be special revelation?
It could be any type of revelation. It depends on you. It depends on your heart.
It could be so it could be special revelation or natural revelation. Huh. Sure. That's interesting. Because special revelation would be, something that would probably be like a priori. Well, a natural revelation would be something that would be a posteriori. So how does that work with the the coming to the knowledge afterwards?
Well, I just don't understand how you automatically assume and have knowledge that God cannot reveal things to you.
Well, you haven't explained how it's even possible to begin with. I mean, you haven't even explained what knowledge is. Maybe we should start off with this, like trying to get to the core of what you even mean when you say that you have knowledge from something. Like it seems like you're just kind of floundering here, and I just don't understand why.
Well, you have knowledge too, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I have an epistemic framework that I think is coherent, and that allows me to come to knowledge from something.
Is it possible that God could exist in the knowledge you don't have?
The knowledge that I don't have. Yeah, so are you saying that God only exists as a mere concept that I might not be aware of? Or does God actually exist in some type of ontological form? Again, that's just a weird question, the way that you phrase it.
I'm saying that there's a knowledge out there. There's maybe evidence or knowledge you're not aware of because you don't know everything. You're not God. So basically, if there is a possibility that God could exist and he could reveal things to you and you don't have the knowledge of that.
All right, so the best thing about this profile picture of Sokka, it doesn't do it in the stream for some reason, but like when we were live, the eyes would move. It was freaky as hell. It was funny as shit. And Sokka usually uses a sock profile, but when he uses this one, the pirate's eyes would move in the actual hangout. It was freaky.
Did God exist?
Okay. So I mean, that's a great point. So you're saying that God, through revelational epistemology that you're putting out there, can give you the knowledge that you don't have direct access to, is right?
Through His Word, yeah.
Sounds good. How many coins are in my ashtray right now?
That's retarded. That doesn't mean anything.
How is that retarded? I'm asking you to make a knowledge claim about something. Like, dive into your revelational epistemology. Have God whisper into your ear right now, how many coins are in my ashtray?
That's what do you think God is like the movie from Aladdin? He's Will Smith. That's not God.
Well, that's what you're saying. God is. You're saying that in order for you, you're saying that in order for you to gain knowledge about something, that this is stuff that's revealed to you by God. So we're putting this to the test. I have an ashtray in my car. It's full of coins. I'm sure God, who's I would say you would think would be omniscient, would know exactly how many coins are in there. So let's put this revelational epistemology to the test. Let's have God reveal to you how many coins are in my ashtray.
I think God would reveal if you had kidney disease, something a little bit more important than your coins.
Oh, okay. So that's what it is that God doesn't reveal all knowledge to you. You know, there's only some things that God can reveal to you, not everything.
Yeah, based on your heart. And
oh, okay, great. Okay, so that's great. So the only stuff that you think that you can know is the stuff that God directly reveals to you.
Through his revelation, yes.
Okay, so what was the last thing that God revealed to you?
Through his word.
Like what, the Bible?
Yeah, that I have faith in Christ, that he can reveal. He's real. He exists. He's existential.
I think the question is, what has Christ revealed to you directly?
Okay, so I get it now. So when you say that something's been revealed to you, through special revelation, you're talking that as long as you take on the presupposition or the a priori kind of belief here that the Bible is true and accurate, then you can come to conclusions about the world. I mean, that doesn't seem like a very good. I mean, it starts with a huge assumption.
I'm not too sure where you're getting at from there.
I'm getting at the point that you have no idea what the fuck you're talking about, but that's that's a subtle point.
Oh, that was the funniest shit ever. Oh, I don't think you know what the fuck you're talking about. Oh yeah, I totally agree with the chat. Like watching these old streams, man. The messenger shit really pissed me off. But watching the old streams, doing the open rooms one that I did, it's been a lot of fun going back and just seeing how much fun we had back then. And hopefully we can bring that element of fun back to it. And not be serious all the time like we have been. We've been having really good shows, but I do want to bring back this feel. I miss it. But we're done with this one. Now we're going to go to a member of a cult stream. Now, this was a NIFB member challenged me and wanted to come on. So he didn't show
authority
up.
In this
he didn't show up at first. And me and John... For quite a while, like I was talking smack about
you got
it.
sassy.
For quite a while, and then John comes in. Finally, he does come in, and for a while, it's just me and John talking to the guy. And I wanted to try to have a decent conversation with an NIFB member and give him as much room as I did, and I did. Like I didn't even lose my shit in rage when he really started talking against homosexuality and started othering people. It wasn't, you guys are going to see it, it wasn't until he just refused to talk to Chris that I lost my shit and raged on the guy. But we had some really good moments in this stream. One of those moments was hashtag the sky is filled with cheese, if the Bible says it. I always thought that Dragnot had gotten Sky out to say that, or that's what I thought for the last couple months going back and watching this. It is Aaron Ford who actually said it. So yeah, I stand corrected on that. But that's not right at first. We're just going to start off with just to show you how the conversation started off a little bit with just me, John, and Aaron. Now, Aaron Ford is Soldier for Christ. So I know sometimes when he does come into the chat, people think he's a Jill soccer count. He isn't, I let him speak unless he starts using slurs. I don't think Aaron is the type to use slurs in the chat. I think he is somewhat respectful in the chat. He might proselytize a bit, but let him speak unless he breaks the rules. If he were to come in anytime, it's not Jill. But let's start it here.
Believe in sin?
No,
not at all. You don't believe in sin at all. So where do you derive like your morals from, if you don't mind me asking?
All right. I mean, I'm kind of used to this from Matt. So my morality comes from my parents. It was how I was raised. But not only that, because how I was raised was probably very similar to how you were raised. To the context, like once my dad actually moved us out of Battle Creek, or where I live now, and moved us down south, and we were raised in more of it was a Southern Baptist home, a Southern Baptist neighborhood. I know the NIB don't like Southern Baptist, but it's probably fairly similar to what you might be used to. And this was in a very rural county in North Carolina, Davie County, more cows than people, miles upon miles of tobacco fields, little churches like you would see in the movies, So, yeah, I mean, I had a good dad that didn't really force it on us because of a rougher childhood growing up before he moved us down to North Carolina. He was very patient with us, and even now, he's never really been judgmental of me. Like, he doesn't like what I am or being an atheist. He was hoping it was a phase for the first 7 or 8 years, maybe, but I think he's come to the terms with it. He doesn't like it, but he doesn't judge me for it. None of that reprobate doctrine.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay, so basically your parents. Well,
Mhm.
let me ask you this: has your parents ever been wrong about anything? Have you ever been
Oh
wrong
yeah,
about anything?
yeah.
Obviously, you have, right? So,
Mhm.
how can you put so much trust in what's right and what's wrong, whether you learn it from your parents or whoever else? How can you put so much trust in, the things that you say this is absolutely wrong or this is absolutely right if it's not coming from God?
Well, it's the same exact way you do it. You just call it God, but it's how you do it is just you and the way you were raised by your parents and they were raised by their parents before them. See, with your parents, when I say my morality comes from my parents, that includes what I've rejected from my parents. Right. So the bad things that I saw from my parents and I rejected those things, like being spanked as a child. I don't do that with my kid, but it helped me grow that morality.
All right, so yeah, we were having a fairly decent conversation when he first came in. That was by design. I didn't want to just rage on the guy. I think I've been very fair in trying to give the NIFB opportunity to defend themselves. I still have a challenge out for Ben the Baptist to come and defend himself. He's too bitch made to accept it, but it's still out there and it's still extended. Ben the Baptist, if you would like to come in and defend the things that I've said about you, defend your hateful ways, then please do come have a conversation with me. I know you've had a conversation with Skylar. Why not come have a conversation with me? But I think he understands it would probably it would be a rage conversation. I don't think that I could do what I did here, which was be nice for a good hour and a half or however fucking long I held my rage in. I don't think I could hold my rage in with Ben the Baptist. But maybe I would surprise myself. Who knows? We're gonna skip forward though, because lots of conversation. But I did end up bringing people in, and it became an open room, and anybody could come in and talk to Aaron. And Aaron held his own for quite a while, especially for somebody that doesn't do the YouTube thing. He was able to hold his own for quite a while and at least put forth his beliefs and his ideas. He was holding his anger in probably just like I was holding my anger in.
Is right.
So it's just a hypothetical question. I mean,
Right. I'm asking you to step inside this idea that tomorrow. What's that?
Can I explain it a little bit better for you, John? Take your head out of being a Christian for a minute. Put yourself in a little hypothetical scenario. Forensics teams do this all the time to figure out how somebody died. Put yourself in this hypothetical scenario and go, okay, imagine that it's proven God doesn't exist tomorrow. If that's the case.
Pastor Anderson doesn't let them engage in these hypotheticals because it'll expose their ideas.
Here's the thing. The Bible says the thought of sin is foolishness. To sit there and to think that there's no God, or hypothetically, if there's no God, all the disgusting, filthy things I would just do because there's no God. That's a foolish thought. So I wouldn't want to think that way.
That's not what I'm saying.
What exactly do you think is disgusting and filthy, though?
To do immoral acts. Who knows what?
What are those immoral acts, though? I want something specific.
Sean, hold on a second. I'm going somewhere with this. I just want to get there, and then you guys can take it away. I'll mute and I'll shut up the rest of the night. Okay.
I'm a little excited to finally speak with him.
Right, and I am too. I totally concur with you. And the thing is that Aaron, despite his ideas that I do not agree with, he seems like a reasonable person, and he seems quite intelligent. I think that you can, for a moment, step outside yourself and use the good mind that I see you have to just consider, if it was proven tomorrow that God didn't exist, would you all of a sudden go out and start committing immoral acts?
Also, I would like to apologize to Mr.
The Bible says the thought of foolishness is sin. I'm going to respectfully decline answering that because that makes no sense for me to think that way.
So, this is the dumpster fire's beginning. He doesn't even want to engage in a thought experiment because AR is exactly right. Anderson doesn't allow them to. It's part of their cult. It's part of their fundamental bullshit. What did I see in the chat that I wanted to address? Yeah, atheists are very sensitive. They're quick to ban people. So, we do have rules against slurs and proselytizing. But I am a personal atheist. Like every month or two, I go into my ban list and I unban everybody. Now, when Jill comes in, he automatically gets banned again immediately because it's Jill. But everybody continues to get chances to just be respectful. Just be respectful. And if you actually come into the room, Pat, tonight, pretty much you have a lot more leeway in the actual conversation than you might have in the chat. But mod is God always in my open rooms. So Ali, if Ali tells you to shut the fuck up, you got to shut the fuck up. But and knowing if you do go on a tirade of slurs or hate speech, that will trigger rage, and I will involve myself in that manner. You'll see how I do that very soon, because this was a rage stream. So we are going to skip forward now. As I showed you, the dumpster fire starting. So now we're going to 54:34, just a little bit ahead. I'm going to try to get through this so I can actually get some stuff done before I go to work tonight.
Do you believe that you're a sinner?
Yes.
Yeah. But the fact that you're a sinner doesn't mean that or that you've sinned before in your life doesn't mean that we should come along. The government should kill you, right?
No.
I mean, God doesn't want that. Does God want people to be saved?
Yes.
No. So why would you kill somebody at that point in time? Aren't you taking away any possibility of them repenting for their sins?
And see, that's where the reprobate doctrine comes in. The Bible does teach that, unfortunately, though God did love everybody at one time, there's some people who are so wicked and so vile that they have gotten past where they can even be saved. They're
What's up, David
reprobate.
Worley?
They're rejected by God even in this life. So they're basically dead men and dead women walking. Basically, that's pretty much, I would say, probably 99.9% of your LGBTQ community.
Right, but I'm assuming that you probably stick by the standard kind of belief that homosexuality is a choice, right? I'm sure that there's probably people within your church that have claimed to be homosexual at one point in their life, but have found Jesus and repented of their sins, right?
So I mean, we're into the part of the conversation now, which it was bound to go when I had an IFB onto the stream. That is, what is your views on homosexuality? Do you concur with the NIFB preaching of genocide, of the government putting homosexual people to death? We're in that part, and I am biting at the bit. You can see I have my camera off. I'm really trying hard not to rage out on the dude, and I hold off for quite a long time. But do want to send a shout out. David Worley's up in the house. What's up, David? Yeah, you can see this was right here was an NIFB member that came into the stream, and this is one of my more famous rage streams, I do believe, because I go the fuck off.
So here's the thing. I'm not saying that everybody who commits an act of homosexuality is just a reprobate. And here's what I mean by that before everybody jumps in on it. Here's what I mean by that. Especially in this day and age we're living in, where I know here in New Jersey, that's where I'm from. I live in New Jersey. They're actually being taught from a young age right now in the schools about homosexuality, and even telling them, hey, you may even be, a homo. It's okay. Let's say that boy who's being taught that from a young age goes to high school, and he's now getting, sexual or whatever, and he does try it, but then he's reviled by it. It's repulsive to him, and he's like, no, this was disgusting. And then he gets saved. I have no problem with that. The Bible clearly says it's when these people burn in their lust one towards another. Like the way that I burn in my lust towards my wife, that's what the Bible calls natural affections. These people have unnatural affections where a man actually burns in his lust towards another man. And that's when we know we're dealing with a reprobate.
So how long? How long does somebody have to be gay for them to be worthy of a death sentence?
That depends on them. That depends on when they actually start burning in their lust.
Because you're taking the choice of repentance away from them. I can't believe that you would advocate for parts of your doctrine that could take away the potential of repentance from people, like repentance and acknowledging the sins, your sins, seems to be, I don't know, almost like a cornerstone of the Christian doctrine. I mean, wouldn't you agree?
I'm saying that I believe the Bible, and in the law, in Leviticus 20:13, we all know it. We've been hearing it for months
Oh
now.
man.
Leviticus
So you
20:13 puts the death penalty on homosexuality. God said it's a
so
capital crime.
so you go by the law.
That's a
The
so
law of the
you
book.
follow.
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Saka. I'm sorry.
so you follow all Levitical laws.
No, and here's why. Jesus said, I come not to destroy the law, but to fulfill. So there's some things in the law that has changed. Okay. There's some things that Jesus fulfilled when he came in this earth. But there are some things that have not changed. The morality of God has not changed.
Oh no,
Homosexuality,
no one's doubting that.
stealing,
From your
So
that's
viewpoint,
all wrong. It's all
from your
still wrong.
viewpoint, no one's doubting that at all. Like whether or not the morality of God has changed, I don't think anybody's advocating for that. I mean, at least from my understanding, I wouldn't say that.
All right, so Aaron Ford just basically told you they get to pick and choose which laws that they follow. They get to choose which laws Jesus came back and changed, right? You know, Saka very clearly had him there because he's using Leviticus law, his own words, and well, you know, we can tear you apart on that. We can tear you apart. And then they say, oh, well, Jesus came and changed it. Well, what is it? What is it? Was the law changed or not? Because you seem to be following these Leviticus laws. And that's the big thing. You know, me and Ali didn't do our Matt Powell Part 3 response to his movie this last Sunday. We will be doing it this coming up Sunday. But, you know, it's so hypocritical because they preach Old Testament literally. They accept the laws of the Old Testament, and yet they go out of their way to bash the Old Testament. And it doesn't make any sense. It's a very inconsistent part of their NIFB worldview. But we are going to skip forward to a hashtag moment. This is a hashtag moment. This is the hashtag filled with cheese moment that I thought it was Sky Out, but it's Aaron Ford. This is beautiful. This is Dragnot Silvis doing what Dragnot does. Hashtag filled with cheese.
The way that you approach this is as if it's some type of affliction that impacts all of humanity. So what are the manifestations of this particular disorder?
Basically, I would say the manifestations are unseen. When we sin, the Bible says that we die spiritually, just like we were talking about Adam and Eve back in the very beginning. When we sin, we die spiritually. Okay. So, and sin is transgressing of the law. So once you understand the law, once you understand that, yes, stealing something is absolutely wrong or lying is absolutely wrong, and you do that, the Bible says that you have now died spiritually. After that, the Bible says now you need a savior, and that's where Jesus Christ comes in.
Yeah, I hear claims kind of being stacked on top of other claims because now we've kind of jumped from having this nebulous affliction to the symptoms, which is a spiritual death. Though, what would then be the sign of a spiritual death that one could ascertain from any given individual?
Well, like I said, this spiritual death is unseen. You obviously don't see your spirit die, but the Bible does say that it's impossible to please God without faith. So you just have to believe that you have a spirit and that once you sin and you're condemned as a sinner, the wages of sin is death, the Bible says, that your spirit dies. And now you need a savior. You need a substitute because if you're judged by God's law, once you breathe your last breath, you're never, ever going to come out righteous. You sin one time, it don't matter how many good works you did, you're going to be condemned for your sin.
So it's based on belief and not evidence, it seems.
Right. It's based on faith, faith alone.
So if I have a claim,
and faith in itself is evidence because the Bible says that faith is the evidence of things hoped for. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So faith in itself.
Well, you can not see something, but there still be evidence for it. There are plenty of things outside of our visual spectrum that we can actually observe through other means. So if I were to tell you that my belief in the sky being made of cheese is so strong that it's undeniable, does that change the veracity of the statement?
How would you say that's a foolish statement?
Why is it a foolish statement though? I strongly believe it.
You strongly believe it, but look up. For one, it's not in the Bible, but then I can look up and just tell that's not cheese up there. So
you made an
I would say that's
observation
foolish.
and gathered evidence through an observation in order to draw the conclusion.
Sure.
Okay, so on this standard, you rely on evidence, but on your other standard, evidence isn't needed. Is there an issue with that discrepancy?
No, not really, because like I said, if I saw a verse in the Bible that said that the sky was made of cheese and I couldn't observe that, I would believe it. But it doesn't say that in there anywhere.
So on the one hand, you have one standard that doesn't require evidence, and then you have another standard that does.
So there it was. Hashtag filled with cheese. If the Bible said the sky was filled with cheese, I would not believe my own eyes. I would believe the Bible. Hashtag NIFB. Hashtag filled with cheese. This is what Dragnot does. And this is, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. And it's great entertaining content. This is why, Dragnot is getting more and more popular. This is why he was just on Atheist Experience. He knows his shit and is more than willing, just like I am, to sit there and have that exchange with somebody with a hate ideology and really throw that ideology right back in their face. Hashtag filled with cheese. That shit was brilliant. We do still have another Dragnot moment coming. And it's always Dragnot and Sokka that did those hashtag moments. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I wish it was me. I can't claim that credit. But we still have Same As Yours coming, y'all. And everybody in the chat, most of you are you know Same As Yours, because I mean that's like a channel meme at this point. So that is coming. But we got a couple more things to watch because my rage is gonna be coming soon. So we're gonna skip forward to 136. So yeah, we talked for quite a while. I hold my rage for quite a while. I think I did really good with that night. But dumpster fires be taken down on my dumpster fires go down on my channel all the time, if I could speak correctly. This progressively became more and more of a dumpster fire. I was losing my shit. Aaron's losing his shit. We got Chris in the chat now, and Chris in the conversation now, who is an historical biblical expert, knows their shit better than anybody. But as you can see, Chris is wearing lipstick. Aaron doesn't like that. Aaron ain't gonna talk to Chris because Chris is a sodomite. Yeah, I lose my shit. Let's get into it.
You can never do that because once you're saved, you would never get to a point of being a reprobate. And once you're reprobate, you never come back to a
I
point
was saved. I was truly saved. I truly believe in God. I was truly saved. And I am and have been labeled by every leader of your church as a reprobate, as equal to any homosexual. I am going to burn in hell alongside them. And I mean, maybe you don't know that, but that's the truth. That's the truth. So, I mean,
but
please explain it. I'm interested.
The issue though is that Nagsuji is that our friend here is implying that he knows the content of a man's mind, of his soul. That he's just saying that once somebody repeats the behavior more than once, then he knows the content of this vile attraction or vile affection that's inside them. And he's saying that he's just kind of asserting that people that act in this way have this vile assertion and that they've given over to the reprobate mind. But I'm trying to find where it's our friend here thinks that he can know the content of a man's soul.
Yeah, Will, I am trying to find that stream. I do want to show that in my last Raging year in review, the drinking stream, because I crushed that ass. But if I can't find it, it's not a biggie. But I do want to try to put that one in the next one.
Truly, that this is the case, that he'd be confident enough in passing a physical judgment on them.
Sure, when I see a dude prancing around in a dress and saying that he loves other guys and he's been in a relationship with a guy for like years or whatever, yeah, I say that's strong evidence that that guy's a reprobate, and that's how I would judge.
Did Jesus wear pants?
Yes, he did.
I don't think they were.
What about
Historically, kids didn't exist at that time, so I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Jesus would have worn a robe. Also, I'm very sorry for the Q-tip, everyone. It's
I
got.
think,
what about,
I think that that's foolish because in Deuteronomy, and this was well before Jesus came on earth, he said that it is an abomination for a man to put on a woman's garment, and that for a woman to put on a man's garment. And when
There
you
were
study
different
the
robes for
Bible,
men and women. There were
if you study
actually
the Bible, the process of elimination would tell you that
yeah,
man
yeah.
wear
Hold
pants.
on, everybody, hold on. Yeah, Chris has not got in yet. He's a biblical expert, and I would like him to get in for a few minutes with Aaron. And Aaron, if you don't want to, speak with Chris, then just listen to what he has to say. Go ahead, Chris.
I'm about to head out. I just want to say I didn't get a chance to talk to Chris. Everybody else, Mr. Ford. If you want to have another conversation, I put my email address in there, dragnot@gmail.com. Come holler at me if you want another conversation. All right.
Yeah.
Be safe, Dragnot.
All right.
See you, Drag.
I'm sorry about the Q-tip.
Take care, man. There was a few folks who wanted me to critique their technique or whatever. That's fine. Come talk to me in Discord. You got to get a hold of me. Bye.
Have a good one. No.
Go ahead, Chris. Go ahead, Chris.
So first, what you've basically shown is that you actually don't know what the dress style of ancient Levantine peoples were. Israelites did not wear pants. Nobody in the Levant wore pants. Everyone wore different kinds of robes. Women wore a specific kind of robe, and in the Old Testament probably also wore a headdress or something over their faces as well. That is going to be basically the biggest difference you have between men and women's garb in the Old Testament. Now, I've got quite a few questions, and you don't have to answer them if you don't want to.
Good, because I won't be.
Oh, okay. Well, do you believe that Moses wrote the Old Testament or the Pentateuch?
I don't talk to sodomites.
Yeah. Well, here, I'll answer for Aaron. Yes, he does believe that Moses wrote that. I'm sure of it.
Yeah. It's going to be funny because there are so many amazing little tidbits in the Old Testament. For example, Abraham somehow talks to the Philistines, even though the Philistines are Indo-Europeans who did not appear in the Levant until 500 or more years after Abraham died. How did he talk to people that didn't exist yet?
See, he's saying he don't want to talk to a sodomite. I think he doesn't want to talk to somebody that knows more than he does and has a very good question about the validity of the Bible when it comes to history. And Chris is the one that will defend the Bible as a historical text. So, yeah, why don't you want to answer that question? Oh, we know why you don't want to answer that question, because you don't have a fucking answer for it. Thank you very much, $1.99. Baller Dollars for putting up with the hateful netbeard. Thank you very much. I saw where you was asking what his name is. His name is Aaron Ford. He does come into the chat occasionally under Soldier of Christ. So, yeah, have fun with Aaron. I'm about to have fun with Aaron. It's going to feel good.
But since he's not going to reply to me, you guys can continue.
So, Aaron, are you going to continue to be too much of a little bitch to speak to another grown man, or what?
That's not a grown man. That little Twinkie right there is not a grown man.
I am 22. I am a grown man.
Excuse me, did you hear the way he just came at me, and now you want me to be respectful, John?
I don't think he. All he did was ask you questions.
And that was bad?
I already stated I'm not talking to any sodomites, and then the boy over here with the fro came at me disrespectful, so I'm going to get nasty
he's
back.
a sodomite too. He engages in ass play with his women, so he's a sodomite too. And you just engaged with him.
Okay.
You've been engaging with reprobates this whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I put
Just
the
some of
call
us
out.
haven't
I
said
said, is
anything.
anybody in here a sodomite? And I guess it was only you. So I don't know who else is a sodomite, but I don't want to talk to any of you if you're a sodomite.
Even though nobody answered no, you've chosen an answer to be yes for somebody.
And Chris did not say anything. He didn't call you any names. He wasn't disrespectful to you. He asked you a couple questions, and as soon as you jumped in, you wanted to call him names. Now you haven't been that way up to this point, and
Yeah,
we've
that's because
commended.
now I'm being attacked
Hey,
verbally,
Aaron.
being called
Can I-
names. So I
Aaron,
guess I don't get
Aaron.
nasty.
Hey, Aaron. One quick question, Aaron. What's so wrong with you talking to me, but you won't talk to them? Because you just spoke to me, and I'm a sodomite. So what's the problem with that?
All right, so I don't believe this one guy is what he's claiming here. I think he's just fucking with Aaron. I think he took some shit for that. But the NIFB shows his true colors. He has been for a while. But he had been probably holding in his anger because we've been going at his beliefs for quite a while. I am going to be incapable of holding in my anger at all. I am seething at this point. I am ready to burst. It's gonna happen.
You answered my questions.
I didn't know
You answered my question and talked to me. Oh, so you treated me differently? Oh, but you still. So what was wrong with that though? What was
I
wrong?
didn't know you were filthy sodomite.
So why'd you
didn't
judge?
say that.
So now you're still interacting with
now I
the
know.
even though you said you wouldn't.
So I have a question from the chat.
All right, so
May I ask my question from the chat?
I guess I'm gonna sign off here because this is kind of getting nowhere on my end. I defended what I believe.
Could you field one more question? Could you field one more question from Aaron? She just said the other Aaron in the room just said she'd like to ask a question. Could she ask you one more question?
Well, here's the thing. She said it's coming from the chat, but since I'm in a chat room evidently full of sodomites, then I guess the chat that she's referring to is probably coming from a sodomite too.
What the fuck did you expect to happen? You came on the fucking Raging Atheist. I plainly fucking stand for equality of human beings. Any person that were to come in to my chat and are free and genuine and willing to talk to any human being are going to have fucking authority in this chat over any human being that's going to label somebody and not speak to somebody based on a 2,000-year-old fucking book. I have held in my rage and I am fucking done doing it. You are a hateful, bigoted fucking bastard. I hope you have good luck with Skylar Fiction. He's going to end up telling you to eat a bag of dicks just like I'm telling you to go fuck off, you bigoted motherfucker.
Well, thank you. A person has clarified.
The rage. The rage. Defend your beliefs, but you attack another human being. I'm going to defend human beings. I'm going to defend my friends. I'm not going to allow you to do that on my channel. What I'm going to do is rage. And the rage is real. Thank you so much, Melanoma. $1.99. Rage, atheist rage. Yes, that felt good. Because I'd been holding it in for a while. I really want the NIFB to defend themselves. It's why I've repeatedly let Matt onto the channel. It's why I talked to Guzman even though he was only 12. I want the NIFB to defend themselves. I want Ben the Baptist to come and defend his ideology. I would love to have a conversation with Steven Anderson. I don't think it would go well, but it would be classic. But yeah, that was probably my best rage moment. I did have another one. I'm not going to show in this year in review. It was with Black Hebrew Israelite, and they came into the room and it would eventually call me a $5 Indian, get racist with me, and I would rage and kick him out of the room. The only other person I've ever kicked out of my rooms has been Darth Dawkins, but it's Darth Dawkins. All right, so where the fuck am I at? What did I do with my page? I'm on this side. Okay. We are going to Dragnot on Fire. And we are going to quickly get into another hashtag moment. It's not going to take too long. It's going to be Dragnot versus Skyout again, I believe. So let's get there. Dragnot on Fire. Probably going to have a fucking...
Thank you.
Advertisement.
Oh, come on.
Are those your bank fees?
As the
All right, we're going to go all the way back to 1049. This might be one of the better live streams of the year because Dragnot really was on fire this whole fucking stream. I didn't originally call it Dragnot on Fire. It was just an open room. I went back and changed the name because Dragnot Silvis was on fire in this live stream, and this is the live stream where we have hashtag same as yours.
4, 5, 6, 7. You sent 2 more, so that'll be 9. There'll still be 1 spot left if that other guy shows up.
Yeah, that should be good.
But I'm sorry.
Yeah, I thought it would be like a tag team scenario like with Sokka, but Sky Out is here. He showed. So, but go ahead, John.
No, all I was going to say, Knock, is so what do you got there on your notepad? Like, what's a good topic that you want to talk about to start out with?
Well, Dragnot said Sky Out wanted to talk biology with Dragnot, so I thought we'd just start there. We'll let Dragnot and Sky Out have their go, and then we can all kind of pipe in when we, you know.
Yeah,
we can start there, because what's more beautiful than Dragnot and Sky Out?
Right. and here's my suggestion. Here's my suggestion, folks. Please, everybody except for Dragnot and Sky Out, why don't we mute for like the next at least 5 minutes and let them take the conversation away.
Yeah, go ahead and give them some time and smoke a blunt and just let Dragnot and Sky Out go at it for a while, and then we'll have our moment when we can all come in and contribute. But go ahead, John. You are the moderator. Don't let me moderate, John. I never fucking moderate. Now I got a moderator and I'm trying to moderate.
Right. Well, but no, that was perfect what you said. That's what I was getting at. So everybody just mute, and then we'll jump in after they get going, and you know, once Dragnot turns Sky Out into a puddle.
Yeah. Well, it may just be, you know, educational. Hopefully, folks. I've been drinking, by the way. I had some sake and Mai Tai tonight, but I'm trying to figure out, because Sky Out appeared on my stream earlier today, and he's saying the same thing that a lot of these guys say when they kind of conflate abiogenesis with evolution. And I mean, it's a common error if people don't understand what exactly they're trying to address, because for them, well, since you know the genesis of all life is related to the proliferation of all life, it's the same thing, and it's not. Like, it is actually 2 separate fields entirely. But maybe if Sky can put forth what he thinks is the case, we can go from there, because I don't know what his education is on the topic, and so I'm not going to guess.
Yeah, basically,
I'm not sure what happened. Hopefully I didn't accidentally delete a comment, and I was trying to show it, and then my laptop went all haywire. So not sure what happened there.
I mean, obviously you're probably going to be a little bit more educated on the subject because you study biology. But basically what I was trying to say, like I gave you the tape of Richard Dawkins and to explain the origin of life and the spontaneous of assembly from organic molecules to a self-replicating cell. Basically, when you talk about the abiogenesis, I guess that's how you pronounce it. Sorry, it's just science words here.
So let's start off. Why would I listen?
Abiogenesis?
To Richard Dawkins when it comes to a field that he's not even a specialist in.
Basically, you don't have to listen to him. I'm just saying, like, the majority of the scientific community, like that, people look at Richard Dawkins. Basically, they admit that they don't know how the first replicating cell got here. You know what I'm saying?
So you've actually spoken to people who specialize in biochemistry, specifically molecular biology.
I've studied it. I've
studied it. So which particular authors have you studied their work?
Well, I've studied it. Well, there's Rick Dean. There's a guy you probably just don't know. I mean, I can name
Dr. Rick Dean.
Yeah, and there's a couple guys, mostly just from him, because he's a Christian too. So
is he a neurologist?
I think you might be looking at the wrong person. But basically, back to the subject about, like we were talking about.
All right, so Dragnot catches his ass immediately, and it's only gonna get worse for Sky Out. Like, but abiogenesis, however the hell he said that shit. Oh. Albino genosis. Oh, Sky Out's always just funny, man. Some good times with Sky Out on the channel this year.
I was basically just wanting to make something simple and just basically identify the 2 definitions of what you were talking about.
Well, hold on. You're referencing this you said so, Dr. Rick Dean. What is his actual specialty, so I can be on the same page?
I mean, if you want me to send you the link, I can do that in a minute here. I just wanted to respond.
Just name it. What field does he have his PhD in? What did he do?
Biology.
Biology.
Yeah.
Okay, so just
This is so
biology.
fucking
You just
great.
did a regular biology PhD, no specialization, just biology.
Yeah.
No one does a general biology PhD.
Yeah, he's. I mean, I can read his credentials. I mean, I don't memorize credentials. I think he's got a little bit more than that. I don't memorize.
Feel free. Just very briefly.
Okay. Basically, if you want me to read about Richard Dean, he is from the community, from the scientific community, from GodandScience.org. So he supports the Christian apologetics, which was created by Rich Dean, which basically has to do with if you go to the actual website, he gives a description of what his credibility is. But he is a scientist, he's a biologist, and he has like all these slideshows about biology and the study of organic molecules. And he has it in very detail. Like you were talking about the Genesis account on your stream, or actually I think you were talking about Noah's flood, and he talks about that too. So basically, back to the subject. We're getting off subject a little bit. I was trying to get back to.
You not told me what his act. You repeated biology, and you've not actually told me what can. How can I get this guy's thesis? While you're talking to me, do you have his thesis somewhere? Because when you tell me that these guys are from creationist websites, most of them don't actually have any actual degrees in the field that they're talking about. James Tour, for instance, wants to talk about molecular biology, but he's an inorganic synthetic materials biochemist. And yeah, supposedly the guy's name is Richard Dean, and I'm having a hard time trying to find his thesis. And that's kind of important if you're going to make it sounds like you're making an argument from authority, but I'm not going to go.
No.
I would be on the same page with what is this guy's thesis and how does it support something that's clearly not scientific? Because he did his PhD in it.
Just real quick, let me interject. I just want to say, Immutable Destiny just let me know in the side chat that he is
he's a
biochem major, and in a few minutes he'd like to get in. And I just wanted to point out to Sky Out. You mentioned something about this scientist having slideshows. Kent Hovind also has slideshows. So.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he?
Atheist rationale. Could you mute though? We're letting Drag and Sky
right
out.
now.
Sky
I apologize.
out. Go ahead. No, you're okay. And then we'll all get in here in a little bit.
Immutable, if you can find the guy, link him because I see the side chat, but I'm not finding any guy. Where is this guy's thesis at?
Yeah, I'm looking for it, and I'm like,
because I'm not finding
I'm not seeing it.
Let me see if I can find it for you, man. Just give me 1 second.
Because I think that's sort of important because it sounds like you haven't actually looked into anything within Acts. Have you looked at any primary research first and foremost on abiogenesis?
Hold on, let me give you what you want real quick before you ask me a question.
That's fine. And while you look for that, it's kind of important if we're going to discuss the topic that we're going to reference people who are supposedly done work in the field. Oh man, that looks like Google Scholar. Not all right. Richard Deem. Okay, no wonder. Bachelor's in Biological Science, University of Southern California. Master's in Microbiology. See, Master's. I don't see PhD. So he has a master's degree in microbiology.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not claiming like authority over here. I'm just saying that's.
But when I said is it Dr. Richard Deem? You said yes, and he doesn't have a PhD.
Well, I do apologize about that. Like I said, I don't memorize his credentials, but he is qualified as a molecular biologist.
Okay.
And
so you do know that when we're talking about abiogenesis, that is almost strictly biochemistry, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
and I literally just mentioned to you that a lot of these guys like to speak like and I gave an example, James Tour, where that's not his field. Why is he speaking on a field that he doesn't specialize in?
Yeah, but again, I don't know where you're deriving your information from. You may want to show me that source too.
What information? We're talking about the origin of life, correct? Of organic molecules.
Yeah. Do you actually have an author or a book that you read? Is there a book that you read, or?
There's lots of books. There is no one book. Sorry.
Me too.
We are referring to biochemistry.
Yeah, when I refer to Rick Dean, he's not the only one. Just like you said, you don't have the only one. So I'm trying to see what kind of books you
Okay,
read
do
too.
you have someone who specializes in biochemistry specifically?
The same books you read.
All right, so Dragnot just took him through the fucking mud. And Dragnot just did something that I was able to do with Matt Powell. It's expose the sources of these people. You know, the sources of their information are important. And a lot of these creationists, a lot of these presuptionalists that utilize these scripts, their sources are bunk. I did a debate with Jungle Jargon, who literally told me that Kent Hovind was right about everything he's ever said. You know, like Matt Powell got his information from YouTube videos, and I got him to admit it live in our second conversation. And Drag literally said, you know, some people talk outside of their specialty, and they talk a bunch of shit. And then Skyout proceeded to give that exact example to him. Try to say the guy was PhD, literally had no clue whatsoever. But we've come to that hashtag same as yours moment. It's going to be great. And it's going to be where we end today. We are pushing 2 hours. I know Dragnot is live with Nate, so I'm going to cut that on and listen to it as I do the few things I need to do before I have to leave for work today. Yeah, so here it is, guys. This is probably one of the funniest moments on the channel. I still think Sokka telling Skyle he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about was probably the funniest moment on the channel. But this is just Dragnot being Dragnot. This is Dragnot just crushing a Christian and having no pity. Oh, thank you so much, Ann. Yeah, Ann Kennedy, for some, like always, her super chats has never been able to work, so she goes to my PayPal. Thank you so much, Ann Kennedy. Huge supporter of this show, and will always be loved here. But here it is, guys. Hashtag same as yours.
That it doesn't matter. We can find all types of books. I care about primary research. I mentioned that earlier.
Okay, what is your primary research? It's the same as mine.
I actually linked some to you. I'll link the secondary a secondary source to you.
Okay.
For primary. So do you want primary research on abiogenesis?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So I can link that to you. That's not a problem. So it's apparent to me that you've not actually looked on any primary research at any point in time.
No, I have. I looked at the same ones you have.
Okay, you looked at the same primary research.
You have.
When I say primary literature, you know what that is.
The same research and primary literature that you've looked at. Yeah.
Okay, so link me one of the primary literature sources that you have. What journal? Is it in Nature? Is it in Cell? Where is it?
It's the same as yours, man.
What do you mean the same as mine?
If you want me to show links, you have to show me one too. I'm not going to sit here and show links all day.
I mean, you are aware that like
it's the same as yours, man. It's the same as yours. Oh, what a classic moment. And looking back on 2019, I mean, we had just so many. It has been a hell of a year, guys. I think 2020 is going to be even better. I'm really stoked for it. I'm really stoked for the stream tonight. Now, again, 10:30 Eastern. We're going to have our New Year's Eve live celebration. Anybody's welcome to come in. Pat, please don't be just a keyboard warrior. Come in, join the conversation. Should be some drinking, merriment, good friends hanging out, having a good time. Anybody's welcome in to come and shoot the shit or have a dumpster fire of a conversation. Tonight's going to be a good night. I can't wait. It should be an early night at work. Excuse me, we're closing early, so I should have plenty of time to get home and get set up for it. Should be a really good time tonight. Already got some people coming in to start the room. Anybody's welcome to come in, unless your name's Jill. So yeah, guys, that's going to be great. So come check that out. I'm super excited to be close to being finished with this year in review. Like I said, I have one more. It'll probably be on Friday, and then I'll be done. I'll start really stockpiling my edited videos, again, getting those on Patreon. We'll be rolling out the new Patreon benefit package this coming up week. So if you're a Patreon, look forward to that. You have literally until the end of today to become a patron to get the special gift that we're going to be sending out late March, early April. You're going to like this gift. It's going to be an awesome gift. So with that being said, y'all, come tonight, be part of be the conversation. Hopefully you enjoyed this as much as I did. Dragnot, I do believe, is live with Nate Brody, so that'd be worth going over and checking it out. I'll see you soon.